Hiya there, it's me. I heard something last week that chuffed me right up and made me so happy, and I'm still smiling about it now, frankly. So I thought I'd share it with you guys, and hopefully it'll make you happy too. Sometimes the church gets together to talk about things like theology and church history and stuff. And I know what you're thinking, but it's nowhere near as nerdy as it sounds. It's actually quite enjoyable. And last time we met, we spoke about a fellow called Augustine. And some of you might have heard of him. He's like a big contributor to the way that people like us in the West think about things like ourselves and God and morality and things like this. And I just want to tell you about Augustine and his life, because it was the most amazing story that made me so happy for all week, right? So let me tell you about it. He was in North Africa, is where he lived, and he was sort of like 300s, 400s. That's where he grew up. And his dad was a pagan, an out-and-out pagan. He worshipped all the gods of the Roman Empire and things. And as far as we can tell from what Augustine tells us, his dad wasn't a very nice sort of fellow. He would cheat on his wife a lot. He was abusive and also just not a nice guy. His mother was named Monica. Now, she was a Christian. She loved the Lord Jesus, and she was forgiven all her sins because she loved and followed Jesus. But she struggled with things in her life. She had a difficult life. She was a servant, and she was addicted as well to alcohol. She was an alcoholic, and she had a tough old time, not just with her husband then and her own addictions, but also like her children they were tearaways. Augustine was a top shelf lad. He loved whatever the world could give him. He would take life by the horns, and he would not let go. Whatever he could get in to satisfy himself, he would do it. So he loved alcohol, he loved lots of women, and he loved blood sports. That meant he would pay to go and watch someone kill someone else, and he would enjoy that. He just loved whatever life would give him. But he found that no matter how much he was taking from the world, and no matter what he filled up his mind and his heart with, he was always left more and more empty. The fuller he got with the world's stuff that life could give him, the more empty he felt. Then he was in his garden one day, and he heard over the wall a child singing a song. And they were singing, "Pick up and read, pick up and read." I know it sounds like a rubbish song. I don't know the rest of the song, just that little bit of the song, but whatever. So Augustine hears this, "Pick up and read." And nearby, he happens to have a copy of the book of Romans, which is from the Bible. And he picks up the book of Romans and he reads from Romans chapter 13, verses 13 and 14. It goes like this. "Let us walk properly, as in the day, not in revelry and drunkenness, not in lewdness and lust, not in strife and envy, but put on the Lord Jesus Christ, and make no provision for the flesh to fulfill its lusts." It was like a thunderclap straight into Augustine's heart, and he saw the light. He said later, he actually wrote one of the first ever, or probably the first ever autobiography as far as people are concerned generally, about his own life. And he speaks to the Lord in this book. He says, "Lord, you took the place of all my passions, and it was sweet for me to be without those things which I was once so afraid to lose." He realized that we human beings are made for more than all the world can give us. We are made for Jesus Christ. Another great quote by Augustine goes like this. "Lord, our hearts are restless until they find their rest in you." The reason why Augustine's story is so thrilling to me is that it reminds me of something that's so deeply important to myself, but also to countless Christians all the way through history and in the world today. And that's this, that the Lord Jesus Christ can satisfy our souls. The world can cram so much in. We can seek it wherever we can go and find it, whether that's in ourselves or in money or in work or in a beautiful home or family or in sort of intimate encounters or drugs or whatever it may be. But it always leaves us empty and wanting the next thing, wanting more of it. Or it always lets us down or stabs us in the back or whatever it may be. But Augustine found that the Lord Jesus can satisfy the soul truly and perfectly and properly. Another thing that just makes me so happy about this The Lord Jesus can do phenomenal, amazing things with his power in the life of people who have messed up sort of circumstances. So Augustine, with all of his misspent youth and all the mistakes he made, and how dirty he felt his heart was at times, the Lord Jesus did amazing things with him. He made him a pastor of a big church in Africa, and he's become one of the most influential thinkers in all of civilization, Western civilization. His mother, with all of her difficulties, her really tough life, and yet look how the Lord blessed her and her children, because he moved into their hearts, saved them and satisfied them. My friend Max told me this when we were talking about Augustine. He said people's lives are like a big jigsaw, and there are so many pieces to it, and no matter how you do this and how many pieces make up your jigsaw, there's always a piece missing, and that piece is the Lord Jesus. If you're finding that no matter what you take into yourself from the world, no matter what you seek, no matter how big or nice your house is, no matter how swollen your bank account is, no matter how well your children are doing, or how comfortable you may be, that you feel like there's always more, that your heart is empty or restless, what your heart is needing and wanting is to know the Lord Jesus Christ. He did it for Augustine, he did it for me, he's done it for millions of Christians and millions all over the world, and he can do it for you as well. So that's what's chuffed me up about Augustine, and I want to share it with you as well. Ta-ra, and God bless.